Hey, welcome to Coffee Talk. Welcome back to Coffee Talk. It's been a while since we've had Coffee Talk, but we're here because we have Joe Tokasz, the rock star seminarian, who is with us for the year. Yeah, oh yeah. You literally though. You played the bass, you were in the band, and not only that, but you carried the weight of the parish upon your shoulders.
That's valid.
Oh, wow, you're making it sound.
Folks, you heard it here first. Pope Joe.
Don't even go there. No.
Let's start with Bishop.
All I'm gonna do is get through the first next 2 years of seminary.
Let's start
the deacon and then father.
I super believe in you, Joe. But hey, this is what we're here for today. We are here because we're going to celebrate over a cup of coffee some of the moments and the highlights from this past year. So it's been almost a full year, right? And not everyone gets a full year at a parish.
That's very true.
But this was no ordinary assignment. This year. Not only does things get a little crazy here at St. Greg's, but boy, things got crazy this year.
Yeah.
This year was unreal.
Unreal. Wow. It has been a year.
You know, the 2019 part of my almost a year here was pretty good. It was the 2020, as we all know.
Yeah, 2020 has been.
The first half wasn't swimming. It was unreal too. I mean, you were the youth minister, so you were part of the team.
It was part of the team.
Oh yeah, and I tell you what, this year would not have worked if you were not involved in youth ministry. You know, just nothing dropped. Nothing dropped. We had our struggles. It was a hard year, but nothing dropped. You know, and so especially with SWAT would have been. And we always say that SWAT never dies, right? And it's true. SWAT never dies. It has yet to die.
It's taking a nap.
It sleeps, and it might go into hibernation, depending on what happens in the next few weeks. But it has not died, and it certainly has not died. Thanks to you, because between you and Father Paul, but you really kind of.
I can't take all the credit for it.
You can't take all the credit.
That's why I said you and Father Paul.
Right, Father Paul's not here to defend himself. That's why we're going to beat him with a stick first. I'm just kidding, Father Paul. Hey, we love our
Let me go get the baseball bat.
No. But honestly, I mean, it was such a good team effort having not only you, but Father Paul was here too. Mike, Nicole, myself. The core team has been astonishing, especially through COVID, jumping on the chats and really being a part of the Zoom small groups. And wow, what a year. So I don't want to sit here and talk. This is about you talking. Give us some highlights. Like, what was this year like for you?
Highlights of year.
Let's start at the parish level, and then we'll move into youth ministry.
Okay, we can do that.
You want to start maybe in like 2019?
Yeah, way back then.
Way back then.
Back in 19.
I arrived here on the 28th of August, 2019. And that was coming off of a nice little orientation with my brother seminarians at the seminary. I knew Father Leon. I was in seminary with Father Paul and Father Moses. I'd met Father Barry before. Father Barry is a chaplain next door at the hospital who lives with us. So I was excited for that, and I was excited for St. Greg's because, pastoral year, a little bit of a break, different type of ministry and different type of formation and training for the priesthood, and it was awesome. And I got here and I started, and I remember my first day. I'm just like, okay, I know where the rectory is. Wow, there's a lot of doors and there's a lot of buildings here.
Yep. And the amount of keys.
Yeah. So that was I think that's highlight number one. We'll start it right there. Highlight number one was realizing how big St. Greg's was.
I'm sorry, I spelled your name wrong.
You were Tomas.
It was Tomas.
I was kind of like, what is he doing? What is Nicole laughing about? It's okay.
Hello, Joe Tokasz.
Okay, so sorry. We
This is us,
digress.
though.
So yes.
The size.
So
Okay,
you come in
Highlight
size.
number one was probably my reaction the first 2 days of whoa. There's a lot going on, and that is an extension. And Father Leon mentioned this past weekend, as I was kind of doing my last hurrah at the weekend masses and really saying goodbye to people. It was hilarious because my first weekend here, when I was greeting everyone at all the masses after communion, it was kind of introducing myself and saying, "Hey, I'm the new guy here. You're going to see a lot of my face up here around the altar and everything, and around the parish." And I kind of made a promise that I wanted to try and get to know as many people's names as possible, and then I wanted to try and go to all the ministries. It's something that I've done at other parishes that I've been at for summer assignments and other things, and we were laughing about it afterwards. And after the fact, it's kind of funny, 83 ministries, and Father Leon changes the number every time he says it, but it's somewhere between 16,000 and 18,000 people who make up the family of St. Greg's, and that's not the extension of the people who come to visit. It's a lot of people and a lot of names. So realizing that, and I think in my first few weeks, kind of going, wow, there's a lot of people here, and we laugh about it amongst the priests and stuff, but the reality is the population of St. Greg's Parish is larger than some dioceses in the United States.
Yeah. It's an undertaking.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll put that as highlight number one, just kind of letting it rest on where I was at and really kind of starting to get to know St. Greg's and really enjoying it at the same time. Meeting the people, getting a feel for everyone who works here, and it was great, including these two who are awesome. Stop. So that's highlight number. We'll start there. Highlight number two. Oh. See, this is difficult because I haven't really had time to sit down and think about it because I've been really busy. But it blurs together in some ways, but there's a lot of joy and fun in it. I would say I enjoyed the Christmas season. I really did. I'd never spent
that
Christmas.
happened.
Yeah, Christmas
happened. That
Before
happened.
everything, you're kind of like, how do we do Christmas? Oh wait, we didn't have a pandemic going on, so we were able to be here with each other.
That's true. We had Christmas.
It
Christmas
seems so
happened.
far away, but I hadn't spent Christmas in a parish before, and to an extension of that, I could even say, I hadn't spent like what we would call the academic year. So going through the fall, I remember walking around St. Greg's Parish, being like, I've never been in a parish when the leaves start to change color, and it was a cool moment. Like the different things that make up, the holidays, Thanksgiving. We'll throw Halloween in there, even though it's not really it. All Hallows Eve. There we go.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day, a great one. But all Advent and stuff leading up to Christmas and the whole. When I say Christmas season, I extend it as a good Catholic should to the Advent season and the season of Epiphany that comes afterwards. So we're kind of talking like Feast of Christ the King. So right after Thanksgiving to the beginning of February. That whole season is a really big spiritual season, and being a part of that, and kicking butt, being Sleeping Joseph, and different things like that, in all the different ways. It was awesome to be a part of that and experience that in a parish for the first time of being fully a part of it and fully mixed in with it.
I forgot you were Sleeping Joseph.
Yeah, I was Sleeping Joseph.
In what?
The nativity. What do they call it? Living Nativity.
Yeah, doesn't Family Faith do it? No. Is it like a
it
parish
is.
thing?
It is run through Family Faith and Jeff Critton and all the other people there and help out with that. So that was fun. I guess I'm being very general here with all over the place parish things.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's literally St. Greg's for you. There's so many moving parts.
And being able to, I didn't realize how much I missed the cafe until it was open again. And I was the second customer reopening. Someone beat me from the 8 o'clock mass. So, but I was like, I want one of those breakfast sandwiches because I've been craving them for months. The conversations that I was able to have with people coming in either to the cafe, stopping in the store to see people who are working there or something, or just walking around the campus. There's some really great conversations that I've had with people. Some really great experiences of just walking with people, hearing their stories and experiencing their faith, witnessing to them and also being witnessed to by them. Some really great stuff there.
Yes.
That's awesome. Hey, we got a question here from John. John Jaremko says, Sem Jojo, please share with us about the time you approached me with, quote, a twinkle in your eye, end quote. For me, that simple incident epitomizes your zeal for the faith, personality, and character.
Oh, boy.
I don't even know
Tell
what
me
that
about
means.
this twinkle in the eye.
What does this mean?
I don't know. I see. I'm trying to recreate it, and it doesn't look the way that I wanted it to on camera. See, like in my mind, I have a twinkle in my eye, like right now.
You have to smize with your eyes.
And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm gonna wink at you, and it's gonna. But
I wonder if there's a
gosh.
keystroke for that on.
I know there's like sound effects where you can clap.
now hold on here and help me out. Okay, I'm having a problem catching up here.
I got you.
Nicole's got it.
You answer the question. I'll see.
Answer the question.
We audibly put a twinkle in your eye.
Audibly put a twinkle.
Okay.
And help me out. So, John is talking about sometimes, John's a core member for youth ministry, and
Oh no, he's laughing. He's still laughing. You okay, Joe?
yeah, I'm trying. I'm thinking back here. It was a good incident of meeting and talking with John, and I don't, I'm trying to remember the specific context, and it might have been an Edge night. It probably
was.
John
Yes, where he is at
Yeah.
Edge.
And
Edge just naturally brings out your twinkle.
yes. Oh, okay. There it is. Okay. Thank you, John. We were rolling coins with the kiddos.
Oh yeah.
So
M&M Drive.
M&M Drive. Afterwards, we're rolling
I forgot
rolling
about
coins,
that.
and it's an extended period of time. And I think we were. What? Nope. We weren't rolling coins with the kiddos. Or were we? John, you're confusing me here. You gotta help me out.
Well, that was fun. Rolling coins is always fun with the kiddos. I mean, they get really competitive about the quarters. Just saying. They do. They're like, oh my God, the quarters! Ah!
We're going to have to bring John in here. John, we're going to Skype you.
Confirmation class.
Wow.
Where is this going?
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
There was a thing going on in there on the confirmation retreat, and you were rolling coins, and you came running in.
Yes.
Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, I was there. I remember that.
What?
Okay.
It was a
John,
thing.
thank you, because the context helps me. So, Father Leon has a game. We're working on a confirmation retreat. The pieces of the puzzle all came together.
Stop store.
Huh?
Stop.
Oh, I'm squeaking the chair.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to pick it up. Sorry.
Womp, womp.
Womp, womp, womp.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I came in, because, was it John? And I think it was Adam. Maybe it was.
I was there, yeah.
And I pulled John in and I said, John, I appreciate that you would probably find this really cool. And
Colin.
Colin
and John
who's the
were-
other one?
Yes.
Was that the day I wasn't there?
You weren't
Yeah,
there.
you were not there.
Yeah. And I said, I think you two will appreciate this. As two people who I know love running games for different youth ministry things, and I pulled them and I said, I really think you want to see this awesome game that Father Leon made. And I think it, as somebody who loves coming up with things and loves that fun aspect, I pulled them in and I said, I want you guys to witness this and see this, because I think it's an awesome thing. One, to see the genius of Father Leon. Two, to the appreciation of what this is, and being able to take our faith and let it inspire our imaginations on how to share that with people. John's one of those people who's awesome with the creativity, and he's always thinking about stuff and how to get the faith out there in a way that connects with kids and anybody who's looking to grow in faith. And so I pulled John in there, and John afterwards was really appreciative of that, he saw that, and it was one of those moments where it's just kind of like, oh man, I hadn't realized how much I had done in that moment. As so often happens in ministry, a thought strikes, and then afterwards you're like, oh man, he was working in that in a way that I didn't even see. So I know John really enjoyed that, and enjoyed being able to have me welcome him into that moment. It was a great moment. So, and that'll lead into another little thing here. All the retreats, both with youth ministry, and now youth ministry does a lot of different things here at St. Greg's. Pulling kids over, confirmation from family faith, and also the class retreats and stuff. It was awesome. I hadn't been in a parish before that had that retreat basis. Had that youth ministry connection, or really the youth present in a way. They had youth, but not a lot. I was at smaller parishes. Being able to be a part of that, and when I say, youth ministry, family faith formation, and the school. Being able to be a part of that and see the kids and their faith, it's awesome. Fantastic thing. That's really a highlight, is being able to see and be a part of the full breadth of parish activities. And by that I mean like the age. We're talking like baby still in the womb all the way to the end of life and going through that. That's an awesome thing about the ministry in a parish, because you see a family, and family includes everyone and all the aspects of life. And it's a fantastic thing. You go from priests experience this in many ways, in a sense. It's very hard to witness all and participate in all the sacraments in one day. It's possible. It is possible, but it happens extremely rarely, and it would be a very long day. But, you can have a wedding, a baptism, and a funeral all in the same day. And then the normalcy of a Sunday Mass. And it's just going back and forth, and it's awesome. It's awesome to be a part of that and do that. And I think the greatest part about parish ministry, and it's the most humbling thing, is to be a part of all of those different aspects of life, and to have people welcome you into it. In many ways, you kind of feel like unworthy, and I'll throw it out there. Hopefully it doesn't come off as being sacrilegious, but you get to play like the God card. Like God's a part of this, and being a representative of God to people, and someone who's bringing God to them, hopefully. You get to be a part of it. And it's humbling, one, to do that, and two, to have people welcome you in and want you to be a part of it for that reason. To be there at the cemetery in that that intimate moment of loss and yet hope. To be a part of that moment, when families say, our newborn child is just born and we want you to meet our child. All those wonderful moments, it's so beautiful and humbling and fulfilling. And in many, it's spaced out with a lot of hard work and difficult moments, but those great moments where you can just see God at work make it all worth it.
You talk about hard work, and you have a work ethic that is only equal to like a Clydesdale horse. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're a working machine.
Yes.
And but not just in a way of like, hey, I'm going to go and just do a task, but you have a foresight to you. And this has been one of, I think, the best compliments that I've seen you receive, is that you just have this foresight to you, that you work on the thing that's unsaid.
Yep.
And you see it ahead of time, and you go and do it without anybody saying anything about it. And I think that is going to be such an awesome part of your priesthood and helping the church rebound, because there's so much in the church that needs foresight to, of just, here's the thing that needs to be done, and we haven't talked about it, we haven't seen it. So I think that's going to be a really exciting thing to witness, as not only your time here, but when you come back as Father Joe, to see how you just crush it in your parishes. Nicole's like, yes, I can't wait.
He really filled in all the gaps. Like, so many things happened during, everything. Even when COVID wasn't a thing, we had our own things happening, right? And Joe's like, the gap, I got it. I won't tell you there's a gap until you've already figured it out, but I already got it. So, it's cool. He's like the best gap filler ever. And we don't even know the gaps are there. Like, that's what's crazy.
Invisible gap filler. I should add it to my resume.
Yes.
Yes. Someone's going to look at that being like, okay.
All right.
Okay.
What does that mean?
John's got a question here, but before we get to that, because it kind of reminded me of another favorite time, is when we're trying to figure out how to transition from our live events into doing our online stuff, when we went digital.
I'm so sorry for being so aggressive. I literally walked in, I was like, Joe! And he's like, okay. Like, he took it.
But that was such an era. Like, that was just an unforgettable era of time that you were a huge part of, because you jumped in on everything. Not only were you giving talks, you were part of the silly games. I think you were putting your face in a pie, right?
Yep. Yeah, I put my face in a pie.
Put your face in a pie. You were a part of the band. You're up there with
the bass,
and
singing
along. It was awesome. And so we went into this period of time that we're kind of crawling and scratching our way out of. What was that like through your eyes, to be able to jump into digital? Digital.
That's literally how fast it was.
Yeah.
If we go back, and you can share your point of views of it too, just to give a wider context for everyone. What was it? It was like March 12th, I think.
No, I will tell you. March 16th is when we shut down, because 8th grade lock-in was March 17th to 18th.
Okay. So, and it was that weekend before.
Yep.
I think it was Friday.
Things started rumbling.
Things started getting a little crazy. I remember I was that week of, I think it was the 14th. I remember that date, because lock-in was supposed to be Thursday or Friday, right?
Friday. Saturday to Sunday.
Okay.
Right.
So it was that week. Actually, I was supposed to take that week off. My brother was going to be home from school.
Wow.
And
that didn't happen.
Me and my siblings were planning on being, we were going to spend the week together. And I remember that weekend before had been strange. It was like things had started, nobody at Mass and stuff like that. We had 3 spaces set up for Mass and everything. I was running around. My feet were hurting from standing all day and figuring things out. And it was every hour it was just something new. I remember I went home for what would have been my day off normally, and I was home, and I remember being at home. I'm like, I can't sit still because I know everybody's doing everything at the church, and I was just like, I gotta go. And at that point I knew my brother was going to be home for at least another couple weeks and stuff, and so I was like, okay, I'll spend my time. And then we hit pandemic shutdown, and so I remember we're going digital, let's do this. And I'll get to the youth ministry and going digital over here, going digital over there. I remember when everything shut down. It was Sunday night. I was hanging with the Saigon brothers, so Father Paul and Michael, his younger brother, who's our assistant music director. And we were hanging there. It's 11 o'clock at night, and Father Leon, who was already on his day off for Monday the next day, he texted us, or I think he called and said, we're not having Mass. Everything's shut down. And I remember we were like, okay, what are we gonna do? And we're sitting there like, we got it. And it was a hard moment because Father Paul, we had to go over and close the Adoration Chapel, and tell people we can't have anyone here. Difficult moment, difficult to think about looking back. And we kind of set up everything so that it was in the camera angle, and knowing that we were gonna have things, we zoomed in the camera, and we were like, okay, this is 11 o'clock at night, quick prep for.
And that was just Angel Cam. We didn't have YouTube live streaming
just our normal live stream
because
camera.
Edge was the first time we YouTube lived, which was like the next week.
Yeah.
So that Sunday was just like Angel Cam. What?
Yeah.
Go.
And it was in some ways, it was really a blessing in disguise to see that the Lord had kind of provided ahead of time the tools to reach out to people. That was a beautiful thing to say, we already have this, we can do this. And it was an awesome thing because it was kind of like, yeah, we can just keep on having Mass and doing things like that. And then there was an adjustment because it was a complete change of pace. And I think you guys experienced that as well.
Yes.
But it was funny because everyone's kind of like, yeah, I'm at home, I can't go into work or do anything. And I remember I'm like, I live here.
I can't escape.
And I'm like, instead of waking up for 7 o'clock Mass, now I'm up at 6 o'clock getting things. It was kind of a crazy moment of, okay, people can't come in. Let's just do everything.
Yep.
And we took that over.
And what was awesome about that was, all right, maybe this wasn't awesome, but because we couldn't have the core team here on campus, our team really just kind of rose to the occasion and gelled, and
solid.
We did ministry, and it wasn't just, hey, we're gonna do coffee talks. Coffee talks was born in that, but it wasn't just us talking at a camera. But we had, Edge and Life Teen and Amped, the flagships still continued on.
It was kind of grassroots if you think about it. I mean, the first time we live streamed was a mess. Like the first Edge. Can y'all remember that first Edge where we had no idea what we were doing? I didn't even know if the audio was working. It stopped working and then worked, and I didn't. We were in the basement, like all shoved down there together.
It was a cool thing because all of a sudden, we didn't see Father Moses at a lot of he comes over sometimes, but especially for the young adult stuff. But it was more one of those moments where all of a sudden there wasn't anything else. He's got other ministries underneath his mantle. I'll say, as where he sits in as a parochial vicar at the parish, because one priest can't cover all those ministries, and so. It was great to have him all of a sudden, and then we had all 3 priests and myself and a whole group of us working in the basement downstairs trying to get this going
because
and
we couldn't have volunteers, and so our team had to do everything, and that meant that the priests came over and became our team. Like our team became the staff, like that.
And it was one of those moments. It was kind of like, oh man, man, I miss having the core here, but we gotta get going here. And it was fun having the core working the other side and like texting in and helping us with the stuff from the other side. And kudos to you guys for helping out with that. It was awesome.
Hashtag core team who rock, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Literally that chat, I know at least for me with Edge, oh my gosh, because middle schoolers are nuts and they just like blow up the chat. I mean, y'all saw it. Like,
oh yeah.
I hit play for Edge and it's and I'm like, I cannot keep up. So I'd have like John, Jaremko, and Julie. I'm like, guys, calm down. They're doing the talk now. It's like Joe's running around trying to help do any of the camera angles. Like Adam's back there trying to help.
Kind of playing like, okay, backstage and on stage at the same time. It's like,
but that was
hey,
all
I
of
need
us.
help because luckily I know how to move a camera around and stuff like that. And back and forth. It was.
But all of us did that.
It was
like it was crazy.
It was like exhausting, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun because it was completely new, completely inventive, and kind of like we're just gonna go with it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you know what? It's still gonna be something, and that's better than nothing.
And it was fun.
It was.
It was hard, but it was fun.
And we got a lot of great feedback from. It's one thing when, like, with the reflections that were up there, I had no idea who was watching it. I had no feedback about, like, hey, was it good or not, or so you're talking into a camera, and then you never hear about it again. So you're like,
either I nailed this, or I just completely.
I'm just gonna walk away right now.
And that was an adjustment. Normally, I think a large part of ministry is being able to, one, be on your feet and go with it, but two, adjust it. Sometimes you get asked that question and it completely changes the whole, everything that you had planned. And you have to be flexible in that way. But there's another part of it. You're like, you use the reactions to adjust how you're going to work on it and speak about it. And you use the reactions to adjust. You're like, okay, we're going to have to spend a little bit more time on this in the future because I realize that they're not understanding what we're saying or something like that. That was all.
Yeah.
And it was a complete, we had the chat and everything coming back, but it was like.
I mean, that was helpful.
Oh, no.
But we were also getting great emails from families. We had parents who were saying, hey, we're making a great night out of this.
It literally became a family thing for some people. It was really interesting. And I got this one email from a parent saying, it's the first time I actually saw what you guys do. And so, it was hard, but it was a blessing to see, like, parents understanding what youth ministry was. And you were a big part of that, like a big part of helping the parents understand. And being willing to just do whatever. I mean, because, again, we didn't have core team to play the games. And so it was like, hey, Joe, do you mind shoving your face in a bunch of whipped cream? Or, like, I don't know, I remember we did, like, ping pong for Edge one time, the dad joke off. Hey, do you mind just being, like, a weird announcer, like, can you just play bass?
Upside down, like ring mic, and in this corner. And afterwards, I'm like, man, I look really ridiculous. But hey, it was a lot of fun.
It's for the children,
Because we didn't have any volunteers, you had to step up and do all. I mean, we all did, but it was nice to have the group.
By the time we. And behind the scenes, there was a lot of tech figuring out, and that was frustrating. Nicole rocked that, and seeing Nicole doing that with Michael, it was difficult. And then, by the time we had the mini worship band going, and we never knew who was going to be free to be able to come, depending on what was going on. But we had a lot of fun doing that. By the end of it, you're just like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of but it was fun. A lot of. I wish there was a single word in the English language that could describe it, But it was kind of like it was a struggle. It was a challenge, but at the same time, it was very fulfilling.
Yeah.
And when you saw the outcome, you're just like, okay, that was a job well done. That was worth the sweat and the tears that went into it.
Literally. There was one point I was on the ground. Like on the ground yelling because YouTube just kicked us off of Edge. Were y'all there for that one? I think I almost threw a chair. It was the Edge core team can watch all of that. They literally, what happened was I was in the middle of a talk, and I was talking about unplugging from technology. Do you remember this?
I do remember
And
this.
I was doing so good. The talk was on point. And all of a sudden I hear out of the corner, Amon was like, Nicole, stop talking. YouTube just kicked us off. And I'm like, no! And I like pick up a chair and apparently it's still recording and we didn't know. And I'm like, no! And then it shuts off. And then I'm like,
The last thing people see is Nicole going Hulk.
oh my gosh. And then we like but then like Michael, talk about technology. Like Michael and I just kind of were like figuring this out, but he jumps onto another live. He's like, guys, go to Zoom. So it's like 15 minutes of him just like going to Zoom, and I will never forget that.
Good times.
Yes.
Good times.
Always good times.
They're like joking about it.
I know.
Just oh gosh, watching Nicole freak out was a hoot. I mean, I really tried to keep it together, but like you said, it gets to a point where it's like so exhausting that it's so frustrating when it doesn't work, but it's so fulfilling when you're done. Like when you're done, you're so tired, but you're like, we did it. By the time we got to Sunday, a week, we were all dead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember I would beat music for 4:30, right? And, Mono's back there doing all the tech stuff. You're serving. You're getting ready for Life Teen. Father Paul's probably doing Mass. And then Mass is done, and we're like, we've got a half an hour. Let's go.
Yeah. And
I have the burritos ready.
The burrito's ready.
Yeah. Bring them in. Come on.
It's
he's on food duty, and the rest of us are like, okay, let's pick up the whole set system of how we record Mass and move it over here. Get it done, get it finished, all set up, ready to go, eat our tacos.
In 15 minutes.
And then as we're like still burping with taco breath, like hopping on there, like, let's
live
music.
Yes.
But you know what? I'd be up on the stage, last minute polishing up, getting ready for Life Team, and it looked like a shot from the movie Armageddon, where you guys would come walking in with, it was like slow-mo through the gym. You got a camera around the back, you got a couple of boxes.
Yeah, because like 3 of us had to carry it all across. I mean, you had 2 cameras, a box full of batteries, chargers. You don't even. And then Michael comes over with his guitar. He has guitar. Mike has the guitar, and then he has the music, and all of us just are like, okay.
Where's the helicopter that's going to take us into the front? Something like that.
And like we'd come over and we'd just be in the zone, and Adam would ask like, "Hey, can we help?" And then he probably would. I don't even know if we answered ever. We were just like, "No, we're fine." And then we just like would do it, and you're like, "I got the burritos, guys." Like,
Take a taco. Take a taco.
It's an amazing thing, how the Lord gives you that extra oomph. It's amazing because I remember there were some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just served 8 masses in a weekend. And then I'm coming over to do Life Team. And you're just like, okay, let's go.
After the week of doing praise and worship and edge, coffee talks, rosaries, holy hour. I mean, I know you didn't do all of that, but you were part of it.
I mean, and a fun memory that stands out to me. There was a weekend. Michael, God bless the man, and all of us working together to try and get the technology going, and all the little pieces that were thrown together. Like, okay, we got to do this to make sure the system might be able to do this, and me and him just go diving into the guts of the church. I mean, literally, we're like spelunking into the guts of the caves beneath St. Greg's.
Is that when he
There's not
drilled
actually
into the
caves,
cement? Is that when he drilled holes into before?
Yeah. Okay, so the story goes, Michael and I, Michael got this big long cable. We're trying to run something from the sacristy, tech hookup, our digital tower
of technology,
to where the music suite is in the church. And so Michael and me go down into there's crawl spaces, they're not caves, but
they're caves.
There's stalactites.
But and it's fun. So Michael and I go diving in there, which it's also like a ventilation system. So you're just like, wind going in your face, dusty cobwebs, flickering light. I'm exaggerating, but we go down there. We're figuring it out, and good memories. Running this cable, crawling around, getting dirty. running things through. It took us a long time. It was a long night in trying to get this cable in. There was drilling, there was all sorts of stuff, running it through the guts of St. Greg's in order to get this thing to work.
Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
was an awesome moment when it worked. And we were beyond youth ministry in that sense, especially you guys. It was all staff on deck who can be here.
'Cause our staff
Let's
was-
get everything to go and work so that we can reach out to people. That was an awesome moment, and Michael and I are down there. We're drilling the thing. We're figuring out how to do this. We're crawling up into the ceiling. All sorts of fun stuff. Those were awesome moments. Using a completely different type of skill set. This
technology
is not
learning?
like a ministry of I'm going to prepare a talk here. No, it's the ministry of
Oh my gosh.
This is stuff that's going to help people and reach out to people, but it's really not your normal sense of doing things. You're like, I'm in the seminary. They don't give you a training course for like, hey, your
Pandemic
sound
101.
system needs a miniature upgrade with the
gosh.
tools that you have. Go digging into the guts of the church. But that's something that I love to do from my experiences in the past. I'm over in the office reading architectural plans for the campus, trying to figure out these different things. Okay, we got to do this and run this through
Oh my
here and go
gosh,
through this
yes.
vent and all different stuff like that. And it was
I mean,
they're memories that'll stick out. I hope it never happens again.
right? Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, man, good times of just rolling up your sleeves and doing what needs to be done.
Seriously, that's what happened. It's like just roll, like the amount of technology knowledge that we all learned. I mean, I had no idea about any of this stuff until I was like, all right, I got to plug in and do it. And then we all just kind of jumped on. We're like, no one knows how this works. YouTube Live. Okay, why is the video skipping? Nicole researches for 4 hours at midnight because her brain won't turn off. Like,
Mike's like, do we have OBS? I'm like, what's an OBS?
seriously, yeah. What's OBS?
You're like,
But now you know what OBS is,
Yeah.
and now you could switch cameras, and it's crazy.
yeah.
We finally figured out why the videos were chopping, and then moving everything up to the stage. Because remember, we started in the basement,
right?
and that day where we had to bring everything upstairs because they decided to clean the carpet, which right now doesn't really matter.
But could you imagine if it flooded?
I
We have all this
know.
stuff down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
God provides.
For those of you watching later on, there was a moment, and Nicole goes, was it April or was it May already?
For what?
When you discovered our
flood?
Noah's
June.
Ark. Okay, it's already June. So this has been going on and stuff. And Nicole goes downstairs and
To
puts
get a walkie-talkie.
her foot into like that much water on the basement of the ministry center floor. And it's funny because there's those days over in the main parish office where it's just like, okay, crisis, pause, and everything. And
I don't think I ran that fast in my life.
and it was a moment of, oh my goodness, this crisis within a crisis within a crisis.
That's really what was happening.
And but the little blessings that happen, all of our technology was down there at one point.
Yeah.
If that had happened when it was all down there,
Yep.
I mean, we would have lost
Everything.
everything.
We literally had a
Everything.
studio set up downstairs
Yeah.
with Michael's box. All of our equipment was down there. Instruments were down there. Like very expensive things. And so if we didn't move any of that stuff and it were to get flooded and all destroyed, that would have been unreal. We wouldn't. I don't even know what would happen. So
It was
moving on
kinda
stage
like
was
God's little hey, even though it's not the same as being in the basement, we're gonna bring you up there because
T
Something's-
minus 1 month.
it was the workings of God are wonderful and mysterious, and the Thanksgiving that we have for that, and that's really what it's all about, is thanking God for those little moments of wow. So it's an awesome thing.
I will always be super grateful. We moved on stage and stuff, but after every youth event, we kind of just our group just hung out a little bit to decompress and just jammed on music. Adam broke a
a drumstick.
Drumstick.
That was an amazing. Like, I think you still have the drumstick.
Oh, I do. Oh,
And
yeah.
it was like,
The camera.
and we're always like,
Eyes up in slow motion. It was awesome.
It was cool, just hanging out and just like, just kind of like breathing, kind of laughing about what went wrong technologically today, and like.
in many ways, we all needed that kind of just like, oh man, okay, it's been a long day of working in the garden, we'll call it, working in the vineyard, the Lord's vineyard, and we just need a moment to just.
Yeah.
And those were awesome moments.
And that's when our team really, I think, solidified coming together. And that really helped with, parish life, because we weren't just youth ministry for like 4 months. We were also parish. Talking about Fiat, Holy Week. Wow.
Yeah. Talking about some other great moments here. Holy Week was an interesting week. There was a lot of planning on my part that I put into Holy Week and stuff, and following the different regulations that were coming out. It was every single day something changes, whether it was from the Vatican or from the diocese, or we can't do this, or we got to do this. Figuring all that out, there were some awesome moments. I love Holy Week. It's my favorite time of the year. And the liturgies of Holy Week are awesome to be able to pray through. This year it was hard to be able to pray through them, because literally it was just like, okay, we just took a thing that takes usually like 100 people, and we cut it down to a dozen people to get it done, virtually, which we've never done before. But it was still an amazing moment. I was exhausted after. I took some time off the week after Holy Week during the week of Divine Mercy. Lord have mercy. Thank you. But it was beautiful that we were able to do that and pull it off.
And
I
provide
really
it to
enjoyed
everybody.
that.
I mean, we live streamed the entire week.
Yeah, and it was. I was very glad that we were able to do that. It was hard, because originally we had wanted to invite area pastors and stuff from other Catholic parishes who didn't have the live stream or couldn't reach out to people. Like, we want them here. Tell other people to tune into this, and let's do this. And then we weren't able to do that.
We literally couldn't have any other people.
And that was and it really was. It was hard. And and that extends to not having the people in the church. That was really hard. And kind of just going through it, and as a minister, and living with the priest over here and going through that training, it was hard to not be able. It's kind of like taking the shepherd out of the field, away from the flock, and telling him, you can't see the sheep, you can't be with the sheep, you can't do what your vocation is.
But you can FaceTime the sheep.
Yeah. And we had to do it completely. It was a complete change, and that first day, it was a Wednesday morning, 7:00 Mass, that we were able to have Mass, and we're all kind of just like all over the place. It was funny, because all the priests and myself were all there, and we're doing our normal set up, and we're like, oh, there's people here.
Right? You just automatically go into...
help out. I was like sacristan, server, everything else for so long, and it was just like, and the person walks in, I'm ready to help set up, this is awesome, we're back, and I was like, oh, I already did it all. Sorry. it was one of those moments, and there's a part of me that felt back and like, this person, these people really want to help out, and I'm kind of like, and there's a part of me that's like, but I really started to enjoy doing this, and I'm like, I have to let it go. Yep. It's okay not to have to do everything.
Yep. Became so
but
automated.
I remember having those people back, and it was, and all the priests and myself was just like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. We're all like crying at Mass, trying to get this. And even afterwards, down the road, thinking back on some of those experiences of not having people in the church, and it's hard for me to even talk about it now without breaking down. Seeing people, people coming up and yanking on the door, that's hard.
Oh, that was hard.
Yeah, it's somebody who brings the sacraments, and you want to help people and bring God to people. Tell them we can't do that. It's heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I remember I was the camera lady for a lot of Masses before we had it more automated, and I'd stand there and hear people getting the door, and they thought like that I could let them in, so they'd be like pounding on the door, and I would like look, and I'm like, I have to turn around and ignore them. Like, it hurt my heart to do that. Oh, I can't even imagine you guys. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Just doing that was really hard.
Hard times. But we're back, and hopefully we won't have to go through that again. I'm looking over at the churches as we're sitting here.
Right.
And I hopefully we won't have to go through that again. And it's an interesting road ahead. We don't know where we're going with it. A lot of good memories parish-wide. In like youth ministry, I remember fondly being over here with the kids. I will say, this past weekend when we were having our mini receptions after all the masses instead of our one big hurrah, talking with people, seeing having the youth come up to me and being like, we were thankful you were able to be a part of this. And the parents were like, it was awesome that you were there with the other youth ministry team and everybody else doing these things. And like, you really touched us and reached out to us, and we're like, oh man, I didn't even realize. And you see the fruit growing, and you're just like, I didn't even know I threw seed over there. And it's an awesome thing to have those realizations and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was like the whole time. Like you said, we were getting comments like, oh, this is doing great, but we weren't really seeing the seeds of what we were doing happening because we couldn't see anyone. I mean, and then when they came back to be like, oh my gosh, thank you for doing that. It's really cool to see that, that what we were doing, it was difficult, but people really appreciated it. I mean, we had that one girl from Guatemala reach out to us. That was crazy. So you all know there was a girl from Guatemala. He used to be a parishioner and moved and does a non-for-profit in Guatemala, and they couldn't go to church. They weren't live streaming anything. And she was watching our live streams at church, youth group for her kids, and was like super grateful and just like direct messaged us on Instagram.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Right.
That was really awesome.
To have that, you realize, the beauty of the technology being able to do that, and then you got people, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're reaching people everywhere.
Another country.
It was amazing, all of that. Just incredible. So it was a lot of great things there.
So we're running short on time. So if we can do two things. One, got a question here from John that I think is a great question. And then two, if you have anything you want to say to the community, to the kids, core team, whoever's watching this, leave a little parting word of wisdom. But the question is, who inspired you to pursue the priesthood? And he says, a role for which you are a natural, by the way.
Well, I mean, there's more than one, in all truth. Having grown up Catholic in a Catholic family, and knowing priests and seeing priests at work, at the time, looking back, once you enter the seminary, you start to realize the influence that they have on you in that sense, and your memories. It's amazing what comes back to you in prayer and meditation. But what kind of influenced me to enter the seminary and really pursue it was my experience of a priest in the Diocese of Ogdensburg. It wasn't in the Diocese of Buffalo. I have a good relationship with a lot of the seminarians from the Diocese of Ogdensburg, which is up in northern New York, so like the Adirondacks and up that way. Where I was in school before I entered the seminary, I was studying music education and music business up there at Crane School of Music, SUNY Potsdam. And I encountered a lot of good priests, and as a young adult at that time, encountering them and seeing them living an authentic, holy life, and still just being guys, and seeing that, witnessing that, the one priest, Father Brian Stitt, I remember, I probably mentioned him to you before, and a great guy. He was the vocations director at the time, and he was the one who gave a talk on vocations that inspired me to first we would call it, in vocations lingo, the spark moment where you really started thinking about it. And that led me, after I was helping out with the confirmation retreat, and he gave that talk to the kids, and wouldn't you know, I was sitting there listening as well, as a young kind of in between senior peer to the kids, and I couldn't get the thought out of my head, and from there, other priests I've met up there, Monsignor Robert Acoin, who was the pastor of the parish in Potsdam, where I was going to school and stuff like that, and I gave a talk here at St. Greg's for faith formation kids. And I remember I put up there this on a PowerPoint slide, this wall. I tried to find pictures of all the people, all the priests who had been a part of my discernment of the priesthood. And I filled the page with tiny little pictures of a lot of them. Some of them now deceased, hopefully praying for me up there in heaven. And just a lot of good, holy men. I was very lucky having grown up in the church and other institutions as well, Boy Scouts and stuff like that, where I didn't encounter any of the bad situations that unfortunately people have gone through in the church and other youth and social organizations. I was blessed in that way, and seeing those good men at work really was amazing. And it has inspired me, and I've met more priests along the way. And I'm looking forward to meeting more, going to Baltimore now, where I new seminary, I've never been there. I've only met the priest over Zoom or email. And so it's amazing to see all the people who help you along that way. And everyone here at St. Greg's is a part of that now.
Your collage is going to get bigger.
Yeah. Bigger.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, any parting words or...
Any parting words? Yeah, a few here. Some of this is a little bit of a repeat from this past weekend, and the being able to give a reflection at all the masses and stuff. First of all, it's a big thank you, and I've been saying thank you a lot to people, but you can't put in those two words everything you want. But just thank you is a lot to everyone, and everyone has an influence on my formation. Adam was a part of my actual parish formation team. There were a group of people who helped in a specific way of like writing evaluations and stuff, doing that on top of leading youth ministry. Awesome. But everyone else, like the back and forth of conversations of people working here at the parish, but also the meeting and ministering. Every time that I've gotten into a parish, I usually go through this moment of consolation, where all of a sudden it's like all that work and of writing papers and stuff like that, it all comes to a head, and you're like, oh man, I can use that now in my ministry, and it's worth it in a sense. And that's been awesome. Being able to have this moment in the parish this past year has been just great, and really influencing, and everyone at the parish. So I say to all the youth and everyone, it's been an inspiration and a help for me in becoming who I think God is calling me to be. It's awesome. You're all a part of that formation, and so I say thank you for that. Also, words about faith here. Having been a young person who chose to live my faith in a different way, and by that I mean there's a lot of people my age, our age, who don't live out their faith or have fallen away. But in living that out, you find a joy in something that is beyond just the reality of this world, and it influences you to do good things and see things in a different way, and it's a beautiful way. You can live life, and people live life without their faith and stuff like that, and they get through it fine, hopefully. And it's not saying that faith makes life easier, but in some ways it does. And living it out, it really shows you, the purpose and stuff. It's like you have a purpose in life, and every moment God's with you, walking with you. He wants to do that. Live out that faith. It's an awesome, awesome thing. and you never know where God's going to take you with that. And then, lastly, I'll just say, just pray. Please pray for me. Please pray for everyone here at St. Greg's, the church as a whole, all the priests and leaders, all of our sisters and brothers, and everyone especially who is discerning, that come into that point of vocational awareness and stuff like that. We never stop discerning and figuring out where God is calling us in life and where He wants to take us. But in a special way, I think it's around the age of 17 that they say people really are thinking about that. It makes sense. Junior year of high school, usually, maybe early senior year, you're figuring out what you want to do with life, and that extends into college. But in a special way, pray for those discerning different things, and encourage them in those discernments, of priesthood, marriage, single life, and religious life. Everyone's called to a different thing, and God gives us those purposes to do it. And you'll never, hopefully, be worse off for discerning and thinking about things, and saying, is this for me? It's a beautiful thing when somebody finds what they're really meant to do in life, and that moment. So
Awesome.
Pray for everyone.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to just share a couple of notes for the community, but thank you for all that you've done.
Seriously,
because
thank you.
Yeah, you've done so much here this year, and you've been a huge inspiration to me. I'm sure to Nicole, to everyone.
We could not have done what we did this year without you. For real.
Yeah. So thank you.
Our team was so much stronger with you on it.
Julianne and John say thank you too. So
yeah, so everyone's just thanking you.
Yeah, everyone, just thank you all around. And thank you for tuning in for Coffee Talk today. If you like this video, share the video, subscribe to us online.
Smash that subscribe button.
That's right.
I'm being Father Paul right now. Smash that subscribe.
So do that. Follow us on the socials. We've got 2 Instagram pages. We've got one for youth, one for young adults. All you have to do is type in St. Greg's Youth or Young Adults. You can find it. There's also a Facebook page for the parish, and we've got 2 websites, one for the parish, one for youth ministry. I know the school has one too. So there's all sorts of things. You want to stay tuned with what's going on here at the parish, but especially with youth ministry, because we got a lot of stuff cooking, especially as we're gearing up for the upcoming seasons. So that is exciting. But maybe we can have you on as a guest through Skype the next.
Maybe you can see me. I don't know what.
What? Are you okay?
Moving on to a new experience at St. Mary's. And come back. Oh man, I'll have a beard down to here. The hair's all gone. Who knows?
That'd be awesome. That'd be a good look for you.
Yeah.
Julianne says they have to hit ring the bell to get notifications.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell to get notifications on the YouTubes, so you know what's going on.
The YouTubes. So, guys, thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you guys soon. Can you lead us in prayer? Close us out?
Yeah.
Great.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
God, our almighty and good Father, we ask you, please send great blessings down upon us, especially St. Greg's Parish and all the ministries here, in a special way, youth and young adult ministry of this parish. We ask you, please, Lord, bless all the people who we encounter, and bless our ministry to them in a special way. We ask you, please, Lord, just really, really give us the grace we need to keep on doing the work and to get through these difficult times as we go through the changes that our world is going through, and all the beautiful, wonderful, and also difficult and challenging moments of life. We ask you in a special way to bless us. Bless Adam, bless Nicole, bless the priest here at St. Greg's, and all the staff. and bless the church. And we pray together, Our Father,
Lord
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Saint Gregory the Great,
Pray for us.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Amen. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and we will see you soon. Take care. Finish now. All right. And
You didn't hit end protest.
finish. And